Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
We had a neighborhood squirrel dog. Nobody really even knew who owned it. I think everybody fed him, but nobody really owned him.
Okay.
But you knew if you wanted to go squirrel hunting, you call Rover, and he'd tree you up some squirrels. You know. Of course, funny. I think most of it was childhood memories, so it probably wasn't as good as I think it was, but it was still fun. You know. And but then later on in life, you know, I get married and I have children. I got my son, and at that time, back up to my childhood, we didn't have deer, and so you know all we had was squirrel hunting and rabbit hunting. That's all we had here, and we didn't have coyotes, so we had plenty of rabbits. So you know, so it was good for that. But then we started getting lots of deer in, and everybody, including me, became deer hunters. You know. Yep. And my son, he's about 5 years old, and I'm taking him deer hunting because I want to be with him all the time. But he didn't like it because he couldn't sit still, and I didn't like it because we ain't gonna see nothing, you know. So I said, I tell you what, son, I had that childhood memory come back to me. I said, I know what you would like, and so I'll get us a squirrel dog.
There you go.
Yeah, and we went through all kinds of scenarios. I just didn't know anybody that done it. I didn't have any help in that department. So I just thought that, you know, rat terrier looked like a squirrel dog to me, you know. So I said, I'll find me a rat terrier. Well, they're really not bred for that. I mean, I finally got a couple that would do okay, but, you know, I went through a lot of gun shy. I went through a lot of just wooden tree, you know. I just went through a lot of that. Well, I finally got one that was doing pretty good. I was proud of her, and somebody told me about competition, and I said, "Man, I've never even heard of that." Well, they were talking about American Tree and Feist. You familiar with those guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I might know a few guys over there at the ATFA.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyway, so I looked up their organization and everything, and I called, and their president lived in Baton Rouge, which is 2.5 hours from me.
Okay. And
ATFA, you're probably familiar with this too. The way you get registered is you have to see the dog tree a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
So he drove all the way from Baton Rouge to see my little dog tree a squirrel. You know, I've always been impressed with that. You know, that was something for that man to do that. Well, anyway, you know, I want to give my little dog a little grace because it was in the middle of the day, but we struggled. You know, it wasn't good at all. You know, and finally, you know, she treed one, and we saw it, and we get back to the truck, and I laugh when I tell this because he meant well, but he said, Owen, he says, you got to find a little squirrel dog and everything, but if you really want to compete, you're going to have to get rid of this junk and get you a River Run. Well, I don't even know what a River Run is, you know. You familiar with that line?
I've heard of River Run quite a few times. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know a ton about them, but
how they got started, and like Jerry Arrington from Tennessee, he started them.
Okay.
And me and him sat on tailgate one night, and he told me the story. But I don't really know because he's told 2 or 3 other stories to other people, so I really don't know how it really started. I don't know if he does that for fun or what, but he told me he had a restaurant, and he was throwing scraps out to this little dog that was hanging around, and he said that one day that you know, he heard it down there treeing behind his place, and he just so happened he had a shotgun in his truck, so he went and got it. He come back, well, lo and behold, he killed I don't know how many he killed. He killed a few squirrels over it that day, so he took that dog home. And the rest of it, who knows? I know that he bled the little dog to Robert Kimmer's line of dogs, the Kimmer Curs.
Yep.
And he got some really, really good gyps out of that. And he bred them back to that dog that was at his restaurant. It's called JD.
Okay.
And that's what really started it right there. It was that dog over Kimmer's.
Okay.
And yep. And I got one from him, and it just happened to be, after that man told me to get a river run. We have a paper here in Mississippi. It's a statewide swap shop type paper.
Yeah.
And it had a female river run dog for sale, a squirrel dog for sale. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I said, that is what that man said, yes. So I called him, and it was Mr. Bruce Gaddy up in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. And he said, yep, I got it. And so I went up there, and I tried it out. He told me to go take it home and try it out. And I was trying to pay him. He goes, no, don't give me no money. Just go see what you'll do, And I got home, and I think I killed 12 squirrels with it the first time I took her out.
Wow.
And I told Mr. Gaddy, I said, cash the check. This dog ain't coming home.
Yep.
Anyway, so that was my start. It was a River Run dog, and that dog was straight from Jerry Ayers. It was one of the original ones,
Okay.
And why I say original, because that was 89 or something like that. So
gotcha.
It's a few generations ago. Put it
Just
like
a few.
Yeah.
And what was that dog's name?
East Boley Dutchess.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I've heard of Dutchess a time or two.
Yeah, she was really, really, really a good dog. Now, I didn't do right because when I bought her, she was only like 10 months old, but she was freeing. But I was so excited. Remember, I told you I was following those rat terriers around, and I walked miles behind the rat terriers without a bark, So when she started treeing like that, son, I ran because I was young. I ran to every tree, and I immediately started pulling and shooting, So I didn't do her right. I've learned a lot since then, how to do with a dog. So, but then I took her to hunt, and I was winning with her too, because boy, if there's third son, she looked good, really good. And I went to Arkansas for one hunt, and I met Todd Cole.
Yep.
And he had a dog called Booster.
Yep.
And anyway, so I had heard about this Smith Streak, how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is. The world knows who that is.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, well, anyway, but I didn't want to go full because I still like the Feist thing. I wanted a small dog.
Yeah. And
so I wanted to keep the River Run because obviously there was something special with the River Run at that time. So I met Todd, and Todd, this is the part Todd keeps forgetting. I won that hunt that day. But anyway, we shook hands. We said, Todd said he had his dog was out of Booster. I'm sorry, out of Smith Streak and the River Run female. So that was like the perfect combination for me.
Yep.
So I left her with him, and anyway, we got a puppy out of that called East Boley Duke. And Duke was, man, I'm great little dog. He was really, really special. It'd be hard to ever say I'll find one as good as him again, but I'm still trying, but he was something. Yeah. He lived 14 years, and he became blind, I guess, about 10 years, and deaf. He couldn't hear or see. And, but he was still trying to tree squirrels, because at that point I was letting him just in the yard, he became a yard dog then, and he'd wander off in the woods out here and treeing.
There you go.
So, yeah.
You did some winning with Duke, didn't you?
Oh yeah, he did real well. I didn't go to a lot of hunts though because I wasn't I was still working, and we had a lot of overtime going on, so I wasn't into the traveling so much. And with ATFA, you had to travel a lot, So I was doing a lot of NKC that was fairly close to me, and I did really good and made him a grand champion and everything in that. And I made him a grand champion in UKC.
Nice.
But ATFA I never did because I didn't go to enough of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was a real special dog to me.
Nice.
And anyway, so then Katrina happened.
Oh.
And Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
And it just destroyed us. Our woods was destroyed and everything. So I tried to hang on because I had put so much into my breeding program and everything. I tried to hang on. So I made it a couple of years traveling. I had to go at least 3 hours north, just to get in woods that wasn't down,
Wow.
So, and that was every weekend, and it was hard on the family. It was hard, period. So I said, something's got to give. So I divvied them out. I didn't even sell them. I gave them to friends.
Yeah.
And then fast forward about 15 years, I started getting close to retiring. I got a year before I retire. So I'm going to get back into it because I love it, and our woods were back. They had recovered. So I start looking on the internet, and I see, this litter of puppies on there, and man, they're fine looking little pups. And I looked at it, he posted pedigree too, and I looked, and it had Dutchess in the pedigree.
Nice.
So I told him, I said, I texted him. All this is texting, by the way. I texted him. I said, hey, I really love the puppies, and I really like their breed. Ha ha. Well, immediately he texted me back, and he says, would you like one? And I said, yeah, I would, but I'm about a year away from retiring. I'm gonna wait till I retire, and then I'm gonna look you up. And he said, oh no, man. He said, you get one now, and you work with it in the evenings as a puppy, and when you retire, you got your squirrel dog. You ready to go?
Yep.
Well, he was right. I was thinking, well, yeah, he's got a point there, So I said, all right, well, how much do you get for your puppies? Well, he said $500. And I wasn't ready for that. I'd been out of it a while,
That's a little more than what puppies were going for when you got out, huh?
That's correct. So, I said, well, let me, and he goes, no. He said, I know who you are. He said, I want you to have one. Well, it excited me so much, I didn't even say thank you. I just said, where you live. And the next morning, I took off on my motorcycle. That's a pretty good part of the story, too. I took off on my motorcycle to Arkansas and got that puppy. So his first introduction was a motorcycle ride, 8-hour motorcycle ride. Yeah. But he did good, though. I had a little soft pet taxi, and I had it covered up and everything. So every time I got out, he was just as happy as could be,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
that dog, that particular puppy is P-Row.
Okay.
He was very special too. Yeah, he's already grand champion in ATFA, and he's grand champion in UKC, and he's champion. I hadn't made him grand yet in NKC, but
gotcha.
He's really done very well.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, whoever you got him off of knew who you were, but our listeners still don't know who you are. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I went right into storytelling. I'm sorry. Yeah, my name's Owen Brayson. I'm from a little community basically called Carrier. So the nearest little town would be Picayune, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I was born and raised here. I live about 5 miles from where I was born. And I'm 65 years old. And I worked for NASA for 39 years on the space shuttle.
Daggum.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know I had a rocket scientist on here.
No, you don't. You don't. I tell people, I say, that I didn't make a lot of money doing what I did, but I sure did have a good career. It was very exciting and cool stuff that I was doing, and and met some people. Like, I'm friends with a guy that's stuck in space right now, Butch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that you're friends with astronauts. Not cool that you're
Yeah. Oh,
stuck
yeah.
up there.
I knew a lot of them. I even met John Glenn. I even talked with him before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like I said, it's been a ride. It sure has.
I bet.
Yeah. But I think now being out, I try to keep up with them, and man, they got some big plans now. They're going to Mars and everything else. Yeah, yeah. SpaceX is the one to watch, though.
Yep.
I mean, they are at Elon. He's got them going up every other day.
Gotcha.
Catching them coming down, and everything else. It's just fun to watch that.
So, when you got back in, where did you end up getting P-Row at?
Oh, I'm sorry. And I meant to say that part too. It was a pastor in Arkansas. What's the name of that town? Magnolia, Arkansas.
Okay.
His name was Micah Carter.
Gotcha.
And he had a partner called Chad West. And anyway, so yeah, they were, man, I told him I'm forever in there, grateful to them, for that. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially to find something, went back to your old stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. And now, and I'm still at it. I still got the river runs, but all your breeders will tell you, you can line breed a lot, but you need to step out every once in a while. So that's what I've done here recently.
Okay.
I took my River Run female and I bred her to Casey Slyman's Merle dog.
Yeah.
And he is actually the same thing I did with Todd. He's half River Run and half Barger.
Okay.
So it's actually the same recipe. And I got a little dog out of him called Dapper Dan.
Nice. That
he's about a year and a half, coming up on a year and a half old, and he's really I think he's gonna be something special. I really do. Yeah. If nothing else, even if he don't make it, he's beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, he is.
Nice little black and tan.
Yeah, I tell everybody. I said I had my share of ugly ones. I finally got me a pretty one. But no, he's gonna make it. He's doing fine.
Out of curiosity, did you ever breed Dutchess other than the booster?
Yeah, I did, and I hate to admit this, but the first litter I bred to the best dog in the whole country at that time. It was called Blue Water Rusty.
Okay.
And nothing bad about Blue Water Rusty, but it just something didn't click on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had 5 pups out of it, and it just didn't happen. It didn't happen for none of them. And then I had another one. I bred her another time to a dog I had that was River Run. And out of 5 puppies out of that litter, I kept one, and it was okay. It was okay. It was tree squirrels, but it wasn't that special. And the other 4, the other people wasn't real happy either, So, but then when I bred the booster, I have to say it, all those dogs did great. Matter of fact, as good as Duke did, the one that Todd picked was even better than him.
Okay.
A little dog called Laney. I mean, she was really something.
I've heard about Laney.
Yeah, and she died at an early age. It was a kennel accident that Todd had. So she got caught up in some wire or something. It was bad story. Yeah, but she didn't get to do her full potential. She was going to burn the world up, I'm sure.
Yeah. Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well. So you got Dapper Dan and P-Row. What else you got right now?
Mm-hmm. And I got Dapper's mother. Her name is Chicory.
Okay.
And
She?
yeah,
Where'd she
she's
come
River
from?
Run. A friend of mine named Mike Smedley, him and his friend, or my friend too, Gary Hill, has that line, and they're River Run, but they do go back to the Smith Streak also.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and yeah, so I got one from him, and my whole plan was to. I didn't tell you this earlier, but my whole plan when I got her, because all I had was P-Row at that time, is to breed her to P-Row. Well, P-Row is sterile.
Okay.
Isn't that something? You know? I mean, we do all this and then turn out sterile. You know,
Yep.
you talking about hurt your feelings. Now that will hurt your
I'm
feelings.
sure.
Yeah. So I did the next best thing. I found Merle. And I was excited, boy, when I started seeing. And I actually spectated at the World Hunt with Merle, and I just said, "Yep, that's the way to go, right there."
He
and
won.
Sure enough,
what, last year or 2 years?
I don't think he actually won. I think he made reserve, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he made it to the final cast, but he looked really good. I mean, he looked good. He hunted hard, and I mean, he was putting them up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and Casey, by the way, is a really, really good guy. You know, and I talked to him the other day, and he said that the one that he took was, it was actually a blue puppy. And you have leopards, right?
I do.
Yeah, are your leopards blue?
Yes.
They are. Yeah. Well, it was a controversy about how where this blue puppy come from, because I've never seen blue in River Run. I had never saw it. But Merle's not full-blooded River Run, so we started looking down that line, on the larger side.
Okay.
But Gun Dog Central, the pedigree database.
I did not.
On the internet. Okay, well, it's pretty cool. You check it out. It's called Gun Dog Central, and it's online pedigrees. So you can navigate through there and dig deep. And I went 12 generations out on the Barger dog that Merle's daddy or mama is, and it was a dog called Reba, and Reba was half blue tick. So that blue showed up 11 generations later. is what I think.
Is it ticking or is it Merle?
It's Merle.
So blue ticks are not Merle.
No, I know. So I know that. But I can't tell you. I don't know.
And then
I hadn't seen the dog since it was 8 weeks old either, so I really don't know what it looks like now.
Now the Merle, Casey's dog Merle I don't know if I've ever seen a picture of him. Is he
He's
Merle?
black and tan. No, he's black and tan. But he told me that he gets a blue puppy out of him every once in a while. Yeah, I know. And then I believe there was a dog in that Barger line that was called Cody Savage, or Savage is Cody, I believe.
Okay.
And that thread that went on about my blue puppy, it started a firestorm of where it came from, But
yeah.
And a lot of people was pointing at that because I don't think they're quite sure how it was bred, so they could have come from there. So
gotcha.
But we gotta be careful when we say all that because some people might get offended. So
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into a heated debate with a guy one time on Facebook. He had some Merle dogs, and he was trying to tell me they were the only thing that they were plot walker crosses, and I'm like, you got something else in there. I said, Merle doesn't just show up. And he's like, there's nothing in here. I'm like, there's something in there. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but something's in there.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna turn the wheels on you a little bit. So, what's the difference in Catahoula and leopard?
So I kind of give an analogy when I explain this. So look at an Australian Shepherd and a Border Collie. Both of them are herding dogs. Both of them come in the same color patterns. Every color pattern you can find a Border Collie, you can find an Australian Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they're two different breeds. They have two different histories. While they both herd differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the way I describe Catahoulas and leopards. They have some common ancestry. Catahoulas probably played a factor in the leopards. But leopards were bred to be a tree dog. Catahoulas were bred to be a stock dog primarily. A stock dog / all-around cur dog, you know?
Right.
And
well, they're real popular down here, the Catahoula.
Yeah. And most Catahoulas don't make good tree dogs. That's what I found. There's anomalies. Don't get me wrong. They make, if they do tree, they tree better by sight than just a straight like smell. So as far as like a coon dog, you don't see very many. I've seen quite a few that have done well on big game. But then again, typically on big game, you know, mountain lions and bears, they can see them. So that's kind of
they're mostly they're used as hog dogs.
Yep.
Baying down here, that's their main job down here.
There's some temperament differences, and they're built a little different as well. But yeah, they're similar.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Aiden Catahoula curs?
No.
Okay, I was just putting that out there because he's very well known for the Catahoula world. And that's my neighbor.
Okay.
So yeah,
I don't follow
Catahoulas
very closely. I know a couple people that have them, or have some crosses, but I don't know. I don't follow too many lines or know too many people in that world.
Yeah. It was funny when me and Casey first started talking. You know, he was talking about he had Catahoulas at one time, and he said, I got them from somewhere down there. Come find out he got them from my neighbor, you know. but yeah, that Mr. Aiden, he ships them all over. I mean, Australia, everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
He's really big into it.
I'm sure. If we had hogs, I'd probably own some.
Yeah. Oh, we got that now. Whew, my Lord, we got a problem. But I think most of the country, or a lot of the country, does have that problem. But we got it. Our swamp and river bottoms and stuff is full of hogs.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and alligators and snakes.
Yep, and that's
everything else.
That's why you wouldn't find me in the woods down there. You couldn't pay me.
Well, it can happen. It can happen. I do have. I got a story for you, and this one's a true one. It's going to sound like bad, but it's true. That I had a little dog one time, and it was summertime, but he liked to ride in the boat, and I was going to go run my lines, my trout lines, and I called him. He wouldn't come. I said, "Daggum, I'm gonna go without him." So I jump in the boat, and I don't go 50 yards, and I see him coming, and he dives in that creek like a lab. He's just swimming toward the boat. And just when he did, I looked, and there was a little alligator. It wasn't very big, probably 3-4 foot long, come off the bank.
Oh.
And sure enough, I couldn't get. I was beating with the paddle and everything else. I turned that boat around as fast as I could, and man, boom, just like a cork going down. And I said, "Oh my God!" Now, like I said, I was beating in the water. I didn't know what to do with it. About that time, he comes up, dog paddling for his life, you know. And he comes up out of that water and runs out. This is the part that don't sound, but it is a true story. He come up out of that water, could run up on the bank and treat a squirrel, and his skin was hanging off of it. He had tore it almost skinned him out.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It was good. Yeah, I know. The alligator didn't get a good bite on him. You know, he just got the hide, and I guess it went in there rolling. peeled it off of him. But then I took him, and like I said, hog hunting's pretty popular down here. So I knew a guy that they get cut a lot. So I took him over to his house and stapled him up, and it never even phased him.
Yeah.
Didn't even phase.
Good deal.
Yeah, I said when I seen that, of course I was grateful that he was okay. But I said, I found that squirrel dog right there. I said, good Lord. He just missed getting killed, and now he's going to squirrel.
Almost eaten by an alligator, and then squirrel.
Yeah, and I know one thing that we can talk about that your listeners might be interested in is we do field trials. I put them on here locally, and I picked the UKC format.
I was wondering because. What registry you were hunting in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the UKC. Now I hunt them all. I mean, I like them all. I still like ATFA. I'll do NKC and all that. But the reason I did it is our UKC is because we were mostly Feist here, and I was trying to help people to not have to travel so far because we're south, very, very, very south Mississippi.
Yeah.
So there's not, there you have to go to Tennessee and Arkansas and all that for these field trials, and local guys are not really wanting to travel like that.
Oh, for sure.
So I said, well, I'll put some on for these guys here, save them for that, and it's really caught on. Everybody has a really good time. I mean, we're not drawing a terrible lot. I'm averaging about 12 dogs a hunt.
That's nice.
And, yeah. Well, then, there were some folks contacting me around the state that was, wanting to do field trials. But they wasn't quite ready to have a club yet because they didn't know what kind of local support that they might have.
Yeah.
So they asked me to help them. So under my license, I've been putting them on for them, and we just did our first one.
Okay.
For Wade Keith and his family hosted it in Amory, Mississippi, which is North Mississippi.
Nice.
And then the next one will be Tony Graham in Tishomingo, Mississippi, which is just about an hour north of that one.
When's that?
It's still North Mississippi, and then the last one of the year will be in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, which is near Jackson, Mississippi. So we're spreading it around the state.
Yeah.
So you get the people that don't mind traveling a little bit coming, but you also let the local guys get in on it too.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really picking up. But back to the one we just done. I mean, we just done it last Saturday.
Yep.
Was Wade Keith and his family. They got they rented a community center there in their little town, and man, the food, the camaraderie. I mean, we just had us a ball.
Oh,
I mean, it was really. Now the squirrels didn't cooperate very well. Yeah. It was just a bad time of year because they said, just a month ago that they had squirrels everywhere and they just shut down. So that the dogs really had to. We still treat some though. We still had some. We had some scores, but they were just real low.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I filled out my report today and sent it in today, so people will start getting points on their dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with some guys over the weekend about different squirrel registries and hunts. And see, we live in eastern Pennsylvania, and there's not a lot of squirrel dogs. And we were talking about UKC, and the problem with UKC for us is, they hunt feist and curs separate.
They do.
With such a limited pool of squirrel dogs in general, you're really to separate them out is really hard. NKC doesn't really have any sort of following over this way. There's a couple guys like western part of the state that hunt NSD, and then WTDA used to be big, but actually I think the end of last week, over the weekend, they just announced that they are officially closed. So,
yeah. Well, UKC, what they've offered to me, and I've tried to stir up some interest in it here locally, is they said you can have the Feist hunt and the cur hunt same day, same headquarters, everything.
yeah.
It's just when they draw out, when they go out, curs go with curs and Feist go with Feist, and the points are awarded accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just actually two separate hunts, but you're renting the same building.
Yeah.
You got, everything's local right there. So that would, but I just can't get. I get 2 or 3 that's interested, but it ain't worth buying the hunt if you don't have more than that. You have to have a certain number to make it worth it.
Yeah. Now, like I said, our problem is you'd have one Feist, one cur, and somebody that's got a hound or something that wants to hunt. So,
yeah.
In UKC,
well, now UKC is a little more strict on that.
Yeah.
It's cur and Feist only.
That's the only reason. Like I said, at the current moment, until we get a little more interest in squirrel dogs and on this side of Pennsylvania, need something where they all hunt together. Just because sheer numbers, we don't really have numbers of anything.
Well, so what is it like coon hunting is the major?
We have a couple coon hunters clubs around, but not that many.
Okay.
Hunting with dogs in Pennsylvania is not. Beagles is probably the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And across the state, they're across the state. There's quite a few coon hunters clubs, but in the eastern half of the state, there's not very many. There's, 4 or 5.
Right.
So most of them are central or further west. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most. I don't really know because I'm so far south. I don't really know, but I know it's pretty big in the Tennessee and Kentucky area.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much where we have to travel most of the time. For the UKC hunt.
Yep.
But I say that I'm pretty sure. What state is that? Ohio has a few.
Yeah.
I wished I was more prepared in telling you who all they are because I know they'd like me to plug them, and I would love to plug them, but I can't think of the names. So, but they had a lot of mountain Feist up that way, and that's the 2 registers that the UKC recognized.
Mm-hmm. So,
but yeah, they UKC has a good, really, really good set of rules and everything. Yeah, they don't. I find this is just, me as the NSD clarifies their rules a little better,
Yeah.
But they have their formats are. Man, it's just the midday cast kills me.
Oh yeah.
It's just not suited for the little dogs that I have. I have nothing against it. I wish I had one that would do that. But midday I don't do so well, so I don't do a lot of those.
No, I understand.
Yeah, but ATFA is I still go to theirs. I enjoy it too. ATFA is a great group of guys. The difference in UKC, the biggest difference is ATFA does or UKC does cast winners, and ATFA they just go with high scores.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only difference. I think everything else is really close. Like the 2-minute tree and the ATFA is a little more liberal on the distance from the tree too. The dog can go, but it's really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as atmosphere, ATFA hunt next to none. I mean, they're a great bunch of guys, a lot of fun. It's just fun. Everybody likes ATFA when they go. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to the Arkansas hunt this year?
No.
Okay.
we bumped heads up accidentally on that one. I had a hunt planned here the same weekend as theirs. Yeah,
it was. I was out there the weekend before, or the week before, the Arkansas ATFA hunt, and it was rough. We were struggling to tree some squirrels.
Yeah. And typically, Arkansas is full of squirrels. It's just different times of year. The squirrels start denning up and having young. Or sometimes the case may be that their food source changes. Mm-hmm. Like when I was growing up, the old timers would always ask me, "What's the squirrels feeding on now?" And what they meant by that, are they eating pine cones, or and I come to find out later in life that they do that.
Oh yeah,
like they're the 2-week window here in Mississippi. The squirrel, you want to kill squirrels, you got to go get in the pine trees. But other than that, they're in the hardwoods. Other than that. But that's one of the things now in South Mississippi where I'm at, that I've never, not one time, except for after Katrina, known a year that we didn't have squirrels. We always have them.
Yeah.
So it was always odd to me when people would call from Arkansas would say our squirrels are gone, or Missouri, or all these states.
Yeah.
And then the next year they're booming with squirrels. It just, we never experienced that. We've always got squirrels here.
I've heard a lot of good things about, especially South Mississippi, down there in the Delta.
Yeah, oh yeah. I love the Delta. I love it. I mean, they got, the one thing is it's kind of exotic hunting for us, because the squirrels there are unique to that river bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Is fox squirrels, but they're black.
Yep.
Yeah, and you don't see that everywhere, so we have the grays here, so that's fun to go up there and hunt in that Delta.
Yeah.
And they have what they call CRP, and what that is, it's do you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so their trees, I'm saying they're probably about 20-year growth, so that is just like perfect, I mean, that's perfect for squirrels. Yeah. Because once they get to that 50-year stage, they're so big, the likelihood of finding the squirrel is very hard. They're there, but finding it's a whole different story. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
but yeah,
sure.
that 20-year growth, they hadn't got the holes and dens just quite yet.
Yeah. They're not nearly as tall either.
That's right. Yeah. Have a blast. Yeah. Yeah, last year, a friend of mine called and he wanted to go get him a black squirrel. He says, "I'll buy the gas, everything. Just let's go." And I said, all right, we'll do it. And anyway, we hunted, and man, we had us a time, so we limited out everything, And, but not. And look, that's the thing. Your squirrel population, you have the gray squirrels, and you have a red fox and a black fox.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty proportional. It's about a third of it's gray, a third of it's red, and a third of it's black. But that particular day, we ain't killed the first black one. and it's getting dark. I mean, it's actually kind of, I don't want the game wardens to come give me a ticket, but it's dark. we done hit the road. We're walking to the truck, and P-Road zips off in there about 50 yards and trees one. And I said, "That's a coon right there. It's too late for squirrels."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I'd like to have a coon." I said, "All right, we'll go in there." So go in there, and you could see the skyline. That's all you could see. You couldn't see your feet. I'm going to get in trouble. I know I am.
You're not.
Anyway, I tugged the vine, and lo and behold, a black squirrel jumped, and he got it. And we went to high five, and it made his whole trip.
There you go.
Yeah, we had a good time with that. Well, what else, Ben, would you like for me to talk about? Let's see, we talked about our field trial. We talked about the old mutts that I have. We'll see what else. That's about it. But I have been doing it a long time.
That's for sure.
I've been doing it a long, long time, and I've learned a lot. And But you never stop learning. When you think you know it all, that's wrong. That's the wrong idea right there. You're always learning.
Yep,
yeah.
for sure.
Matter of fact, this whole thing with this new Dapper Dan dog that I have, he's completely different than anything I've ever had.
Okay.
All my River Run dogs have always been really hot nosed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind that. I like that because I pleasure hunt more than a competition. And with a hot nosed dog, you're going to see more squirrels. The likelihood when you go into a tree is you're going to shoot at something. So I like that. But this son gun, he can wind them.
Yeah.
I never had that. So it's really, really exciting. But I wasn't prepared. So he's teaching me some things. He's teaching me some things.
Like you said, always learning.
Always learning. Yeah.
Well, good deal.
But all right. Well, Ben, I guess I'm used up. I don't know anything else.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Owen. I really do.
Probably. You're welcome. I'm sure the minute I get off here, I'll probably say, "Dang, I should have mentioned that." But I hope your listeners enjoy it. And
you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.